Full disclosure, PowerPoint is on this computer, so things might be a little wonky on the presentation, so just let you know. There might be some missing.
Are you saying technical difficulties?
There are always technical difficulties right there. I have to turn this to you. Yeah. Where's it on? Yeah. I didn't touch it. Wait a second.
Yes.
Same station, only he's night, she's morning.
No, he's morning.
Yes, he's in the morning.
This part was
Sparkling day counterpart, yes.
Where you want to go?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I would say if it's me and I touch technology, it usually breaks, so that's just how I roll. So, we'll see. Maybe this is on. Oh, maybe we can sleep. There it is. Okay, yay! Okay, so, thank you, Walter. Here we go. Okay, so for starters, my name is Emily Kirk. I've been at Channel 21 for 4 years now. It's crazy to think I've been there for that long, as it is a starter market. I'm sure many are aware of that. We have people turn over every couple of years. And yeah, we are a smaller market. So market scales typically go from 1 to 210, and I think our latest market, I think we're 186. We used to be 193 when I first moved here, so we're climbing up, the Bend market is, which includes Deschutes County. We don't get counted for Kirk County or Jefferson County, which is interesting. So that falls under the Portland market, which is why Portland's a little higher, but you can receive us over the air in Jefferson County as well as Kirk County. So we're not only the NBC station, we're also Fox, and we also own the CW station as well as television. So we do a lot of advertising, and we do commercial production for both of those stations as well. So about Channel 21, it aired for the first time in November of 1977, so we have been the local dog here for a long time. We are owned by News Press and Gazette Company. They are out of St. Joseph, Missouri. We're a family-run company. They were actually here in town still today. They were here yesterday. So they go through and they see all their stations. Their name's the Bradleys. And so they own TV, radio, print. They're also getting into the fiber optics. So this is huge for Central Oregon to know that your local station is run by a family-owned organization, and that is really huge, especially right now in local television media, and just the information that we can get out there for folks. So a little about me. Again, I'm sorry. There should be some information over there on the side. So instead, you get a look at my picture from 4 years ago. So I am from Milwaukee, Oregon. It's a southeast Portland area. If you're familiar with that. Went to Rex Putnam High School. And after that, pardon?
That's too bad.
Did you go to Milwaukee?
No, David Douglas.
Oh, I was like, are we about to like get into it right now? I was like, uh-oh, don't threaten me. My dad was a zigzag hotshot when he was in his prime, so I'm very familiar with firefighting efforts. So to add to yours, yes, they put their lives on line. They absolutely do. My mom was a radio disc jockey in the 80s and 90s, so I've been into media for a long time and always had an interest in television from the time I was 10. I really realized I wanted to work in local TV. She also worked at K2 for a little while in the Portland area, so I was able to go play on the green screen there, and I think that's initially what got my interest sparked. I was an athlete in high school. I played basketball, softball, soccer, and then I went on to play softball in college. I was kind of on that fast track of playing D1 college softball, and I decided I don't want to do that full time. So I went to Clackamas Community College for a couple of years, got that paid for. I said, okay, parents, I'll meet you halfway. I'll play softball for 2 years. I can stay local, you can watch me, but then I gotta go. So I'm gonna go to U of O. So I went to U of O, sorry. Sorry, but no leaves, it's so exciting. My whole family, everybody else is a Beaver but me. Me and my uncle were the traitors in the family. So yes, go Beavers, that was really exciting. So yeah, I went to U of O, and after U of O, I did an internship, or while I was there actually, I did an internship at Comcast Sportsnet Northwest, but I thought I wanted to do sports for a long time. And so I interned there in the Portland area. They actually are in the same building that KTVZ is in, so it's nice to be surrounded by television and local news in that way. So I worked for them my senior year of college covering the Ducks, and then I would also go to OSU to cover the Beavers. And then after college, they asked me to work for the Trailblazers for them, so I was doing their pregame and postgame shows, doing production work, that sort of thing. And then after that, I finished up my credits at U of O, and then actually did a weather internship. So through my connections at U of O, the chief meteorologist at KZI was like, hey, if you ever want an internship, let me know. You can totally come be submersed in the weather department, and we can work on with you for 3 months. And so I said, that's a pretty nice opportunity. So I went back to Eugene for 3 months, did that internship, and then eventually worked my way over to KTVZ because I knew Bend is where I wanted to live, in Central Oregon for that matter. I'm very big into the outdoors. I'm camping pretty much every single weekend. My phone will be off and you cannot get a hold of me. I will be somewhere in the woods. I love hiking. And so I just really moved here for the lifestyle, for the outdoors, and I get to report on my favorite thing every day, and that is the weather. So hopefully I bring you good news more often than not, but sometimes people don't like me because of the weather. So again, how I arrived at UCL 21, went to U of O. I had a couple of internships. I am a huge advocate for internships, apprenticeships, anything like that for the youth. And before you make a huge decision like going to college, I just am a big fan of knowing what you want to do before you get there because it is such an investment, and I think it's just it's a really troubling time right now to go to school, spend all this money, only to come out and realize that you actually don't want to do that. So I'm a huge advocate for internships, and I'm very lucky to have done a couple of those with some really great companies. I believe in a lot of practice, and that's pretty much how you can get good at what you do. So I get to practice every single day, which is awesome. Hopefully this video will play. If not, it's kind of a behind the scenes look at the studio. Has anybody actually ever been to National Island? Okay, cool, so you guys can go through. We've had some big changes over the past few years. We've done a lot of construction to our control room. We have all new cameras and equipment, so we're actually broadcasting in full HD now. And we're starting to go into this new form of broadcasting, which is going to be over the airwaves and even more in the HD format, which is pretty cool that we're kind of ahead of the game. So hopefully this plays. If not, I will, no. Okay, so it's going to be right along. It's kind of a tour of our studio. So it is so much smaller than you actually think it would be in real life. It is probably actually about the size of this room, maybe a little bigger. And it used to be a garage. So it's an interesting space in there. My green wall is, about this big and about that tall. So it's really a small space that you're seeing with the graphics behind it. So for Central Oregon, do I have a picture of the place? I told you it was going to be bumpy. I don't know how that got bumpy. So presenting for Central Oregon is a challenge. So for studio lighting, we laugh that men also have to wear makeup. Bob Shaw goes and puts on makeup in the morning as well, like women do in the afternoon. So we dress professionally because we were invited into the viewer's home. I don't typically wear this on air. I would wear something a little more formal because we are being invited into your home, into your living rooms, and we're having dinner with you. And so we don't want to show up looking crummy. So we always dress like we're being invited into someone's home. A little behind the scenes secrets. So the microphone that we wear, actually with women, if you're wearing a dress and you're doing a full length shot, it's attached to your knee, or actually below it. So I wear a leg strap, and that's where I hide those cords. And people always joke, oh, do you get in trouble or something? Or what are those cords about? So we run our earpiece down the back of our neck, and our earpiece is actually what the producer is saying to us when we're when we're presenting the weather. So as we're doing this, they count us down with time. So we get about 3 minutes and 30 seconds for our full weather report, and they count us down. So when I get to 2 minutes, they go 2 in my ear. So while we're talking, we're also hearing them say things to us. And sometimes when they forget to turn off their microphone and they're talking to so-and-so about lunch they had today, you get to hear their entire conversation about lunch while I'm going, and it's going to be 90s for tomorrow. Jordan had pizza for lunch today. So sometimes you get to walk all the way around the cameras, tap on the door, and go while you're talking. So if you ever see me disappear, it's either to fix my hair or tell someone like, hey, sit back, I can hear about your lunch in my ear. So again, so this is kind of an outlook of there's the band. So you wear this every day. So you don't see that typically because the camera cuts it off about mid-thigh or so. So this is the studio. This little track, I call it my train tracks that you have to walk on in order for that lighting to hit you in the right spot. So the green wall, again, it's not very big. And you can see where those different shots are within the studio. So this is this weather center shot, and sometimes you're sitting down. We use this at 6 o'clock typically in the evenings and at 7 o'clock. So you'll see this camera actually pointed that way, but it also pivots and points at the green screen. Then over here is a set that we have called the interview set. And sometimes you'll see a reporter standing next to a monitor, and that's that shot. So we have 3 different cameras that we can move throughout the studio, and we have different looks to give people. And especially at this day and age, it's something we need to keep up with visually because our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So you need to change it up. You need to provide variety for folks for entertainment. That's essentially where television is kind of going in that way. So it's not just that we're trying to keep your attention, we're trying to keep a variety for people to keep them interested, different voices, different sound bites, keeping it punchy so it keeps your attention, so it keeps you more informed, so it doesn't make you tune out. So for a studio, our green screen, so this is actually projected on the green screen. What happens is they key it over you, and you can put anything back there. They can put any image, but this one specifically is the satellite and radar. So forecasting for Central Oregon is tricky. It's a hard one, being east of the Cascades. We have a lot of climates, and within Deschutes County, there are many climates. So we have Bend and Redmond areas, which vary temperature-wise. You climb up in elevation, the farther south you go, and then you get into La Pine, Sun River, you're closer to the rivers. It's a lot cooler, and they're much higher, about 700 feet actually, but they also have sisters. So there's so many different elements within Central Oregon that you have to cover. And being in the middle of this state, you almost have to forecast for the entire state to just give people an idea of where systems are coming off of. And on the Pacific Northwest, or in the Pacific Northwest, our systems come off of the Pacific. So how we do this is we work really closely with the National Weather Service, and we do forecast for Roberts Field. We forecast for the airport in Redmond. Our 7-day forecast, whenever you see that, that is always for Redmond. So it's something for Redmond residents. Bend people get a little confused and a little irritated why it's not for Bend, the bigger city. We understand that. However, we go with airports. So whatever the biggest airport is in the nearby city. So that's why we forecast for Roberts Field. So what we do is we work with the Weather Service for our forecast. They see ours, we see theirs, we go back and forth. Yesterday I had to call them because we have a red flag warning in effect 3 o'clock tonight. And what they had this time yesterday on this site is they had the red flag all the way through the end of the week. And so I called them and I said, hey, you know, I'm looking on your website. I have under my system that it expires at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Is that what you have? And he's like, yeah, I have that too. And I said, okay, well, your website has it going all the way through like next Monday. And so then it alerted him to go change it on his webpage. So we work a lot together. We'll kind of see if they have issues or we do, and we can go back and forth. So with the Weather Service, we are at the tail end of their area that they cover. They're out of Pendleton. So we're just down in the bottom southwest corner. We're as far southwest as that goes. And then Medford takes over, and then Portland. So we have radars, specifically in, I think the next slide has that. Well, we have radars in Portland, Pendleton, and Medford. So actually in Central Oregon, our radars miss most of Central Oregon. So if you're looking on the satellite radar sometime and it's raining outside your house and our radar doesn't have blue over your, or excuse me, green over your house, it's because the radar is just simply not picking that up. So often I heavily rely on viewers telling me, hey, it's pouring at my house, here's the hail I had earlier today, we just heard some thunder. That is very helpful for us. We love hearing from viewers. Sometimes I think viewers might think it may come off a little too, I'm telling you how to do your job, but it just helps us. It gives us way more information, because I'm down at Bend, I'm not in Redmond. It can be completely different at that time, but I can't see it because my radar is not picking it up. So sometimes you'll say, and you know, cloudy over Redmond right now, we'll get some showers later, and then I'll hear immediately, by the time I go sit back at my desk, I have an email saying, no, it's pouring at my house in Redmond. So then I know, okay, next time I'm gonna go up and say, you know, radar's not showing this, but it's actually raining right now. So it's very helpful. If there's ever something we're getting wrong, please shoot us a note. It helps us clear it up. So then what we do, or I do specifically, is look at these two models. So this is the jet stream. This is taken from San Francisco State University for their models, and this shows where the jet stream is. Then we have surface analysis from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This shows us what's going on. So we kind of compare the two of them. So we have high pressure right here. We can tell that because there's a big blue H over there. High pressure, everything goes in a clockwise rotation. So then you see these arrows. This is the jet stream. It's moving down under an area of low pressure. Then it moves up over this area of high pressure. And then it wraps around another area of low pressure, which is onshore. So you can see that cooler air is being pulled in. So we just double check a lot of weather is double checking different sources. So you're making sure everything's matching up, and then just by living here as well. So if I see this, I go, okay, so it's going to be cool for the next couple of days. Winds are out of the north, but because we're here in Central Oregon, I know it's going to get a little cooler at night than it does for the National Weather Service. They are usually a few degrees off with their lows. They think it's a little warmer than it is for overnight, and for daytime highs, they're usually a couple degrees cooler. So I know that just from living here for 4 years and just going back over the records, saying, okay, well, they forecasted it was going to be 92 today. It actually got to like 94. So what I'll do is adjust that for the rest of the week. Say, okay, we're kind of trending a little warmer. So it's a lot of double checking different sources with weather. And then this one is another one I use pretty heavily. This is from the University of Washington. This is from the University of Washington. So I stopped this at 3 o'clock for both of this afternoon. This was for May 1st, it looks like. So what I'll do is compare these two. So this is our model forecast that comes out of the system that we use, which is called WSI. I think it stands for Weather Science Information. Pretty sure. So we use our model forecast from WSI, but I also like to compare the models with something that's local because WSI cranks this out for the entire country and they are based in the Midwest. So I just like to compare things just to double check. So what happened with the University of Washington, and they're very accurate too, I will say, with their atmospheric sciences program. So it shows in Wallowa County, up in the Wallowa Mountains, there's thunderstorms, some snow, and then I can cross-reference that and go, yep, that looks about right. There's some snow and some rain. And when I'm looking at the high desert, there's not a lot going on. What it's showing us with the model forecast, and the model forecast I always say is kind of a pessimist. So sometimes it will say, it basically covers the bases. If there's a slight chance it's going to rain, it'll put a little green dot on there. More or less, this could just mean some very dark clouds, but it says it's going to rain. So what I'll do is I'll double check those as well. And then, I wonder if this does play. I have a few videos backed up. So essentially what I'm telling you here is that this weather forecast, it operates just like a PowerPoint actually. So you move the slides around, we can arrange them in whatever arrangement we would like. So I usually start, my way I forecast weather at least is I do past, present, future for my main forecast, which is again that 3 minutes and 30 seconds one. So what I like to do is recap the day. So I usually use a time-lapse camera for that and show, okay, well at Lake Billy Chinook all day long yesterday, it was not a cloud in the sky, it was a beautifully sunny day, look at all the boats, everyone was down the lake, it was gorgeous. And then I'll go to a satellite and radar and say, okay, right now for the entire state of Oregon, you can see there's not a cloud in the sky. And underneath all that sunshine, boy, it was hot today. Then we go into temperatures, talking about what it's like right now. So outside right now, it's 99 degrees in Redmond. It is hot this afternoon, but we will be cooling off. And then we go into the evening. So now I'm taking you through the next 6 hours. Then after the evening's done, we go through the model forecast. I'll take you through the next 36 hours. Then after that, we'll go into the 7-day forecast, which leads you into the next week. So I like to think about weather in past, present, future because it gets everyone prepared the same way I'm preparing too. So my thing with weather is I always say to people, whatever I tell you is also what I'm planning on. So if I say it's going to be perfectly dry and I don't bring my raincoat and it rains, I'm probably looking very upset and my hair is starting to curl. I'm just as angry if it rains, or I'm just as angry if it doesn't rain. So sometimes I'll bundle up too much and I'm peeling off layers. Why did I bring this coat? Sometimes you just don't know what weather in Central Oregon it can get you. So what I like to do as well when you're watching this, when you're watching weather, pick up on this, I'm sure you'll be able to. I like to pick out 3 main points for weather, so I call it the weather story. So for this one, for example, it was for the next few days. So it was, okay, the cooler air is going to stick around for a little while, but eventually the sunshine comes back and then it'll be warming. So those are my 3 main points that I need to hit that day. And that I try and do every single day is create that weather story, something that I can tell a story. It's very similar to reporting in that way, where you hit your main points, drive that home, summarize it with hopefully ending it on a positive note. And so for weather presenting this, I love that it stopped when my eyes are closed. So for weather presenting, we have several monitors that we look at. So we are backwards. People always say, well, aren't you backwards when you're doing it? And you are. For the front camera, you are on the opposite side of the camera when you're looking at it. It's a mirror image. But you have to stare at yourself the entire time.
Oh, no.
Which is my least favorite part, is getting to look at myself. And then I'm like, that piece of hair is bothering me. You know, I'm kind of like shiny things, so I get a little distracted. But it's, we have 2 side monitors. This is one of them that points into the weather center. So this is one that we look at the side. These can be moved around and changed, but what it does is show you what you're looking at. So whatever you're seeing at home is exactly what I'm seeing. So if we're seeing, you know, an error on the screen, I know it's there. I'm aware of it. I've typed in, you know, 1,098 degrees one time, and it was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be a hot day. So let's see if I can take you through. Maybe I can find this little hot forecast. I'll try and find that later. But do you guys have any questions for now? Sorry about the videos. The PowerPoint thing is better on the show.
Emily, are you
Yes.
gonna further your education as far as the weather goes?
You know, I would love to if the opportunity presented itself, but at this point, I'm paying off a degree already. So unfortunately, it honestly has just come down to a matter of paying for it, which is a difficulty. But as of now, the consultants in the company don't think I necessarily need to get that yet. If it were to present itself, I would love to. But it's a program through Mississippi State to be a certified broadcast meteorologist. I have records over the past couple of years that kind of show I don't necessarily need to get that quite yet, so, which is nice. But yeah, I would love to pursue that if it were an option.
How long do you plan on staying here in Central Oregon?
I just re-signed my contract for 3 more years, so at least that long. Yeah, and I love Central Oregon. This is definitely where I want to live and
It's a nice
make a
place to
home.
be.
It's beautiful. Yeah, my parents are happy that I live here too, because they get to visit. Yeah, and they're both in the Portland area still.
They call it inversion. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so an inversion in the winter months too, and this happens a lot at Mount Bachelor. So it'll be cold in lower elevations and warmer higher up. So when an inversion happens, that cooler air just sinks, and with high pressure overhead, it won't let that cold air lift. So that's why the fog's never able to move. So yeah, you can see that even coming in from Bend. If you're going to Redmond, sometimes there's just a layer of fog that you're over. And we had that 2-3 years ago, probably 2 years ago. For a long time. I remember a fog persisting for a very long time with that inversion. And then when you get up to Mount Bachelor and you're on the summit, you're taking off layers. You know, you're looking at everyone beneath that. So it's that pressure that keeps the cold air in, and it won't let it move until that high pressure moves out to allow that cold air to escape. So when we get stuck under the fog, and fog is very tricky. It's a hard thing to forecast for, which is so tough about the valley, is they're dealing with fog so many days. Fog is a huge contributor to the temperature. You know, so if the fog never lifts, we say it's going to be this temperature, we're expecting the fog to break up, and if it doesn't, it will be significantly cooler than what we forecasted for, which has happened before. So sometimes that fog is just really stubborn, and the air is just still, it doesn't move, so that temperature just stays the same.
And it sure makes it into freezing fog at that point.
And then freezing fog, what a treat. Yeah, we love freezing fog.
I really enjoy turning on Channel 21, especially to get the local news and your weather.
Thank you.
And you're on a long time, like from what, 5 until
From
what?
4 to 11:30. It is a long time.
I was going to ask you, what's the best time to catch the local news stories? Lots of times you tune in and they're talking about the national. When's the local focused?
Well, yeah, so with producing shows and putting things together, I used to be a producer, so when I started at News Channel 21, a producer puts together the newscasts essentially, so they're the ones behind it all. They're behind the order of the stories. They put together whether you're hearing a soundbite or it's just, we call it a voiceover, where it's just a script and video over the top of it, or reporters doing a live report. The producer puts together all of that, so it's really up to the producer's discretion. So it's their best news judgment. What I think most of our producers and across the world, this is a trend, typically put their local stories in the first part of the newscast. So right at the top, 5, 6, 4, you know, right at the top of the hour is typically when you'll find you're most heavy into local. But some producers are different, so they like to spread it out throughout their show, or they like to just take certain, we call them blocks in between the commercials, certain blocks and make those local, or they'll make them national, or do a business trend or a health trend or something like that. So we do group things, but always at the top of the hour is typically what I would say is the best. Yeah, I would say most newscasts, which we have on at 4, 5, 6, 6:30, 7, 10, 10:30, and 11.
What do you like better, producing or being on air?
Funny you should ask me. I just had this moment yesterday when I was, so I had a very nice long weekend. My best friend is getting married, so it was her bachelorette party, and it was so nice and so full of love all weekend. So then I came back to work, as anyone does, and then you come back to work. So I put on makeup. We went camping all weekend, so I didn't have to put on makeup. I didn't straighten my hair. It was lovely. It was such a nice treat. And I'm putting makeup on, and I thought, it's a good time. It might be nice to go back behind the scenes and not have to put on makeup. I loved producing. Producing is just, I love, I'm kind of a type A, can you tell? And I like to be in control of things. I know I like to steer a ship and do it that sort of way. So I really enjoyed producing because you get to put on what you think is going to best serve the viewers, honestly. For weather, however, I will say that was always, at one point during the week, I was doing sports on Fridays, weather Saturday, Sunday, sports Mondays, and reporting on Tuesdays. So I was doing every job every week. And my favorite was always weather. Because for weather, I don't have a script. I'm just talking like I am right now, so it's just ad lib the whole time. And with reporting, you have a script, and producing, you have a very strict schedule. So for me, I like weather because I could throw a little bit of my personality into it as well, so it wasn't so constricting in that way. Yeah, I like being behind the scenes as well.
So I've seen you on the early morning cast once in a while.
Sometimes.
Is that a horrible wake-up call to get, say so-and-so's not gonna be in, we need you to come in at 2 in the morning and fill their...
Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened.
It would be. And I think, is my phone? Yeah, I think I have a nighttime mode. So I don't know if they could get a hold of me. I should probably change that. Yeah, that I filled in for Bob a couple times when he got knee replacement surgery just for the month, which was kind of in part me and Sam being like, can we work together? Because we are very, very, very good friends outside of work too.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of us begging our boss to let us work together, and they were like, okay, fine, here are the keys, do it. But that's a grueling schedule. So they get in at 2:30 in the morning, and then the newscast begins at 5, goes until 7 a.m. And then they do cut-ins for the Today Show, those tiny little quick blurbs that you see. And then some people in the morning report, and then they stick around for the morning meeting, which is at 9:30. So the morning shift is just a completely different world. Some people Bob loves the sunrise shift. He loves that shift, works for his lifestyle. I cannot stand it. I like my shift in the evenings, but I go to bed at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, which doesn't work for everyone. But it doesn't work for me to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning either. So it's just kind of to each their own and that schedules, but there's a lot of different schedules within the building.
Is some of it taped, or is all of the news live all the time?
All of
Don't you
our-
get tired of saying it over and over again?
That it's all live, or the same. Yeah, so my joke is that I give 22 PowerPoint presentations a day because I have 3 hits in the 4 o'clock, 3 in the 5, 6 in the 6, 3 in the 7, 6 in the 10, and 3 in the 11. Every day. So yeah, after a while, at 7:30, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for a break now. It'd be nice to go have, it's like, yes, it's gonna be hot and sunny. This time of year, yeah, it's hard to say it over and over. This is the time of year when my job becomes like, how can I make this interesting for myself? At that point, because my forecast, I was laughing yesterday when I did it for this next week. The lowest high was 91 and the highest high was 93 for 7 days. And there was nothing but sunshine. So it's like this time of year, it's hard to say, okay, it's gonna be sunny and warm again for tomorrow, still above average. Like you'll hear, if you listen close, you'll hear my voice start to get, okay, at 7 o'clock. So if you ever listen to the 7, just listen for my, okay, time for a dinner break voice. But yes, so everything is live to answer your question. The only thing that is not live is the 7 to 9 o'clock broadcast on KFXO in the mornings, because that's the replay of the sunrise show. Other than that, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, they're all live. And on the weekends as well. I don't think we've ever done a tape show, actually, since I've been there. Yeah, that's all I've done.
Who comes up with the viewer questions? Sometimes they seem to be extremely lame.
The trivia questions, you mean? Oh, that's me. No. Okay, you caught me at a fun couple of weeks. Because just last week, I had, I don't know, maybe you were watching, but I had this really nice, so it is live, the beauty of being live. Anything you mess up on goes out to thousands of people for them to see too. So the computer was being slow, and then it tried to crash on me right before I had to go. So last minute, I'm clicking all these buttons, and I run over to the desk, and I sit with Lee, and I hear, your trivia question's not popped up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over here for a second, and that's exactly what I had to do on live TV, because I can't tell them, you gotta go to commercial break, there was no video to cover us. I just had to go, excuse me for a minute, walk back over to the Weather Center. Lee and I are good pals, we're really good buddies, and Lee's a funny guy, so he was able to kind of joke his way through it. So the trivia question, that day didn't work, and then I kind of went, oh, trivia is so hard every day, this is the biggest part of my job, and I need a trivia book, and what's a trivia book? So now I have a trivia book from the library, because I've been doing this full time for 2 years now, and it's kind of hard to come up with a new trivia question every night. So to viewers, I'm like, if you have a trivia question, send it my way, I will absolutely use it, and I'll put your name on TV. So if you have any trivia questions, please help me. It's usually just random trivia generator on Google, to be honest. I wish I had a better resource or answer. If I can't find one, I just can't. Or it's me going throughout the day and then being like, oh, let's do a trivia question about roundtable pizza. So about that. I'll do it about the Kiwanis tonight. You write that down. I'll do that tonight. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, guys.
It's not true that if somebody calls with a complaint about the weather, the red light goes on so you don't answer the phone.
Oh, it was. No. Thank you for watching.